Attention. Petrol is still about 1,200 naira per litre. What is our ears not hearing? When do we stop to hear evil? This is April 2026. Today we have the privilege to a new series because we are alive to hear it. Let the government die of hunger and the masses robust in abundance, we pray. My name is whatever you call me, and my last name is kept against. Welcome to Broda Journal series, where truth is acknowledged, while silence is felt. Today I have the privilege to talk about Let Tinubu Be. In the theater of Nigeria politics, one script has become painfully predictable. Most of the leaders under this current administration has been true to a mandate of a candidate. Both the elite and the average resides in the jail of hardship and crisis, but the state actors frown at any form of critics. And this is keeping the democratic pattern deteriorated because of a mandate, because of a candidate. In Nigeria, there has always been one powerful force meant to stand between the government and the suffering masses: the Nigerian Labour Congress. Let Tinubu be, but persecute the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC. Until Tinubu and others are kept under pressure, NLC has no tooth to bite and no nails to fight. Fellow Nigerians, we are living through a time of deep hardship. Petrol prices are crushing lives, courtesy of no stable electricity and a hike in price. The naira has lost its strength, and insecurity continues to take innocent lives across the country. Yet, in the midst of all of this, those entrusted with leadership act with confidence, almost as if there is no real pressure from the people and the NLC. That is the heart of the problem, NLC. But today, we must ask NLC an uncomfortable question: where is that power? We have seen a pattern from the NLC: strong words, fiery threats, announcement of nationwide strikes. Then suddenly, we have heard silence. So loud. Dialogue happens behind closed doors. The pressure disappears, and Nigerians are left to carry the burden alone. Sometimes silence speaks, but here silence kills. This is not leadership. This is failure. I call it complicity. The NLC wasn't created to issue only press statements. It was built as a weapon for the people, a force capable of shutting down injustice and compelling governments to act. History proves this, from the struggles of the past, through military regimes to the famous 2012 protests. The NLC showed that when it acts decisively, government listens. So what has changed? What has changed today? Today, rigid policies and barren reforms that keep millions of lives in perpetual destitution are being implemented with little resistance from the NLC. Fuel subsidy is removed, the naira is floated, the cost of living explodes, yet the response remains predictable. Threat without sustained action. What kind of government keeps the citizen in adversity but wants to remain in power? This is not Cameroon. This is Nigeria. The worst has been seen, and what's next to be seen? Amari meme. Amari nkan tó ju meme lọ. Lovers of this evil, your intentions to go to hell should not involve others. And while this continues, Nigerians are not just hungry, they are dying. Insecurity in the north has become a national tragedy. Yes, you will say insecurity has been in the north. It's worse. It becomes worse every day. Farmers cannot farm. Children are abducted. Communities are wiped out. The crisis is spreading even down to the southern region. If this level of suffering cannot trigger decisive action from the NLC, then what will? Seriously. The truth is simple. Every time the NLC backs down, it strengthens the government's confidence to continue without ratification. Every empty threat weakens the trust Nigerians once had in the labor movement. Let it be clear, this is not about tribe or party or past elections or one candidate or the other. This is about Nigeria. If NLC will not speak because they are not poor, then they should act for the common Nigerian old woman, for the common Nigerian old man who has retired from working, and also fight for the kids, the little kids who are just growing and depends on their parents who are hit by the situation of this country. Yes, fight for them. Don't fight for yourself. The NLC leadership was not appointed by the government. It was chosen by delegated conference workers. It answered to the people, not to politicians. That independence is its strength, its greatest strength. But today it feels like a wasted opportunity. They just sit there, make press statements. We must also ask, why does pressure from the NLC seems to produce quick releases when its leaders are arrested? Yet the same level of pressure is not sustained for the everyday Nigerian. Take to the streets how many people are in jails for doing less than what these politicians has done. How many lives are living in tragedy of the fear of what may become of them if they pass through the roads because of insecurities. Going out has become tragedy. Or those who have their last meal taken over a week ago are now eating from hand to mouth. That ambiguity cannot be ignored. This is a bloodbath in a White House. Who jails the corrupt and bad leaders who are in semi-parties, not in ruling party? Who will make the ruling party pay for their sins? Who will control them and who will caution them for being corrupt? If you can't beat them, you join them syndrome. Who will lock them up? Evil cannot apprehend wickedness. However, NSC is the only department in the government sector that can legally box the government to the corner. It's a tool for the masses to thrive upon, not the lousy activists. Sorry, I'm not against activism, but leadership must recognize its role of duty and functionalities. NSC was designed to give workers a unified voice, not the activist. Over more than 4 decades, the NLC has used strikes and industrial actions not just for wage demands, but as tools for broader social and political change. From fighting military dictatorship to resisting neoliberal economic policies. It worked. Why not now? Really, why not now? In 1945, even before the NSA was formally created, Nigerian workers carried out a general strike that shook colonial authority and laid the foundation for labor resistance. In 1964, workers again stood firm, forcing the government into negotiations over wages and working conditions. Wages. In 1981, a 2-day strike secured a national minimum wage, a major victory for Nigerian workers in those times. 1981. During the military era, the NLC stood boldly against the Structural Adjustment Program, SAP, and even joined the fight for democracy after the June 12th crisis. These were not easy battles. Government dissolved the NLC leadership just because of that, yet the movement stood its ground. 2012, Occupy Nigeria. A strike under President Goodluck Jonathan. One of the most iconic when fuel subsidy was removed and prices jumped from 65 naira to 138 naira per litre. The NLC and civil society shut down the country for over 5 days. Protests spread nationwide for increasing the petrol price from 65 naira to 138 naira per litre. Jonathan eventually or partially reversed the policy and introduced the Sure P palliative program. This remains the NLC's most celebrated modern success. I wish I could cry for Mr. Jonathan over this movement. Knowing that Tinubu did the same and nothing was done. Nothing was done. Even till 2026, from 2023. Even as the NLC dragged their feet to push for wage increment only. Wage increment, my foot. 2012, Nigerians will never forget. The country was brought to a standstill. The Occupy Nigeria. Protests forced the government to partially reverse fuel price increases. A democratic government, though, who understands how things should be done democratically. That was the power of a united labor movement. So again, what has changed? Today we see a different pattern. Strong statements, threats of nationwide strikes, deadlines given, and then silence. Silence. The pressure fades, the government relaxes, and the Nigerian people are left to struggle alone. This is not legacy of the NLC we once knew. No. In the days of Oshomole, in the days of Comrade Imodu, Nigeria does not need a labor movement that only backs. It needs one who acts. One that is ready to sustain pressure, not suspend it. One that understands that silence at a time like this is not neutrality. It is complicity. Lastly, let me tell you what you are doing, knowingly or not intentionally. I don't know. But what you are doing, NLC, is emboldening the Tinubu administration to implement policies without fear of real consequences. What you are doing is eroding public trust in the labor movement as a genuine defender of the people. What you are doing left millions of workers, farmers, and vulnerable citizens unprotected during Nigeria's most difficult period in decades. For God's sake, that is what you are doing, NLC. What you are doing is making Nigeria to regret that they were ever Nigerians. This is a call to bail our nation from the oppression of this collective evil. Maybe NLC should allow the activists to do their jobs for them. They should hand over power. In this administration, the likes of Comrade Showore has done more to make the government sit right than the NLC as a whole. This is not facts, but a naked truth. If the NLC cannot rise to this moment, then it is fast becoming a shadow of what it once was. A symbol without substance. And history will not be kind to that. So the message is simple. The time for statements is over. The time for decisive action is now. Nigeria is watching. Nigeria is suffering. And Nigeria cannot afford continued hesitation. The ball is in your court, NLC. Nigeria Labour Congress. Kindly tag NLC as a concerned citizen of this nation. Thank you for your time. See you on Thursday. Bye for now.